Hey, what is going on, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another video. I hope you guys are doing fantastically well. Today I'm back for a video all about Euro 2016 so far. I'm going to be talking about the violence, the England match, Kyle Lafferty in Northern Ireland, and a few other bits and bobs. I think there's been so many talking points already in the opening, 4 days of Euro 2016 that I wanted to make a video on it. Let's start with the violence then, and it's just really overshadowed the tournament. And to be honest, the whole tournament has been a bit of a disaster so far. I expected violence. I was watching a documentary about it the last time we played in Marseille, and there was a lot of violence, but I didn't expect anything to the magnitude and the consistency of this violence. This is day in, day out, pretty much consistent. And it's tough for me to talk about it because I'm not there, I'm not seeing firsthand, but I've read loads of stuff from people who have been there. I've read lots of articles from well-respected journalists who are there. I've seen like videos and stuff. It looks terrible. And you know what? The sad thing about it is I'm glad I'm not there. I'm glad that my family isn't there because I'd be scared. And you shouldn't be scared watching football. Like, football is something that this tournament should be something that's celebrated. Of course, there should be rivalry. Of course, there should be, people having a good time. But when people are being put in hospital, when people are dying, that's when things are getting a bit out of hand. A bit out of hand, very out of hand. A Northern Ireland fan died this morning. I know that wasn't due to fan trouble. He fell off a promenade. That's very sad. But, England fans being put into hospital. The Russians look like ruthless bastards, don't they? They're turning up with MMA gloves, gum shields on, and they have got routined fights. That is absolutely ridiculous. If I saw a skinhead Russian running at me, I would turn on the afterburners and run as fast as I could. But the problem is, we've all seen the videos. You can't run anywhere in a stadium. There's barriers, there's everything. It's just looking chaotic. When you've got Russian fans running at England fans in the stadium, when you've got flare guns flying, it looked terrible. And, I know a few people who were there and had to get out of the ground because it was just too much. But that was probably not even the worst bit. I've seen videos of people getting absolutely beaten to pulp on the streets. They're getting their heads kicked in. And these aren't just like a few people. These are like tens of Russians and French just going at the England fans. Now, I'm not saying it's all the Russian fans. It's all the French fans. I'm sure there's tons and tons of brilliant Russians and brilliant French. And I'm not saying that English people aren't completely out of it. I know that there'll be English fans there really giving it the big un and stuff. But this should be celebrated, guys. We shouldn't be fighting in this day and age. I know that when you mix alcohol, when you mix rivalry, and you mix football and big groups allowed together, there's going to be some violence. Of course there is. And I think times that's the beauty of the game. But well, actually, it's not the beauty of the game at all. But that rivalry should be held, and that rivalry is so important. But when that turns to fighting, and I like to put it this way, right? It's very easy to turn these statistics and stuff into numbers to say 8 people have been put in hospital. When you say that and there's hundreds of thousands of people watching the Euros, you're like, okay, whatever. But you think about it, these are people's brothers, these are people's husbands, these are people's dads, these are people's best mates, and can you imagine your brother or your boyfriend or husband or dad getting absolutely beaten to shit on the floor? It's not cool. It's really not cool, and it's a real shame. Anyway, let's get on to... Actually, this isn't much of a Brighton, though. England versus Russia. I thought we played really well. I was watching it with a few mates down the pub. I really love international tournaments, the big tournaments. I'm not too keen on the friendlies, but when it gets to the Euros and the World Cups, there's some vibe about it that I really like. I thought we did really well. I thought we deserved to take the lead. What a strike it was to Eric Dyer. And that Russia goal just came out of nowhere. I was like, is this actually just happened? And everyone was like, what has just gone on? I was like, oh, Jesus. But I think the reason we didn't win that game was Roy Hodgson's substitutions. To bring on Milner, who was the other guy? Yeah, he took off Rooney, didn't he? I think to take off your captain. Rooney was playing superb at the time. To take him off was a mistake. To get Wilshere on there, I think that was a mistake. I would have stuck Vardy on there. He scored counter-attacking goals all season. Russia were piling them forwards. They needed a goal. they weren't leaving many men back. You know, you take a couple of chances, even get Sturridge on there. I think that was a very defensive-minded substitution. And to be defending a 1-goal lead against a Russian team who looked very, very average, that's poor from England. I still think we will qualify, but we made it tough for ourselves. And finally, Kyle Lafferty didn't really set the world alight for Northern Ireland last night. I'm really, really hoping Northern Ireland do well, but they're going to do very, very well to get through the groups. They've got a very, very tough group with Germany, Poland, and Ukraine, and that's going to be very tough to get through. And I think they need to win against Ukraine this week to have any chance of getting through. I think Lafferty looked isolated. I think the pressure got to Northern Ireland. He looked slightly better when Connor Washington came on to support him, but still, Lafferty really does need to pick his game up if he wants to get his country through to the next rounds. Anyway, let me know your thoughts on the violence at Euro 2016. What do you make of it? Whose fault is it? All of that stuff. England, will we get through? Will we get through as group winners? Or won't we qualify at all? And Kyle Lafferty, will he do Northern Ireland proud and Norwich City proud? Let me know. Thanks for watching this Euro 2016 video. Let's try and hit 100 likes. If we hit 100 likes, I'll know that you guys are enjoying this Euro 2016 content and try and bring some more over the next 3 weeks of the tournament. Thanks very much for watching, and peace out.